Hey everyone, welcome to Inner Peace, Better Health. I'm your host Eric, and today we have an amazing guest, Anastasia Gerali. She created Rapid Alignment Therapy, a unique way to heal and align with your soul. Anastasia has an inspiring story of overcoming tough times and helping others do the same. So let's dive into healing has an end date. Upgrade your brain patterns to step into your soul alignment now. So, Anna, you are so welcome to our show.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be sharing this with your audience as well.
Yeah, so I want to ask you first things first, what inspired you to create rapid alignment therapy?
hmm it was my own need to heal, to be totally honest, which is something which we're going to be diving into today.
Yeah,
It was really a gift that was given to me along my own path of healing and recovering and becoming more resilient as a person. And I believe every relationship, every experience serves a purpose. So it's courtesy of all my experiences that I have been able to bring this gift, which I now share with
yeah,
so many other teachers and healers and practitioners.
yeah. So was there any specific moment that when you were like, wow, I'm done with this, and when you were recovering, I know because all of us go through tough times, and I believe that tough times they act as a platform
Mhm.
for your inner strength to manifest thoroughly or to soar wildly. So was there any specific moment that you remember now that you decided, okay, I'm going to use my weakness to empower others or something like that?
Yeah, absolutely. I guess I would say that it was really a journey of rediscovering myself, and it was my first divorce that served as the platform, as you say, or the catalyst for me to go deeper into my healing journey. Before that, it wasn't really, personal development wasn't really something that I'd really considered or looked into. And
Yeah.
at the end of a very, very unhealthy and unhappy relationship was that pain point, which would show me that there's a different way to be. There's a different way to be in love. There's a different way to be in business, a different way to be in relationship, a different way to be as a human being.
Yeah.
Because before that, I was just on autopilot, and everything on autopilot didn't really give me the results that I wanted and didn't give me the results which I thought other people were getting by living this one size fits all lifestyle.
Yeah. That's
And
really amazing.
yeah, that first very very big heartbreak is essentially what would send me into the path of a new formula, because that's how I interpreted it. It was in the space of 30 days in 2016. My husband of 7 years told me that he wanted to end the relationship. He'd met somebody else. And I also had to file for bankruptcy and close my business because my business was just bleeding money. And I was homeless, divorced, broke, and really had no light at the end of the tunnel. And when I looked at it, Arick, on paper, I said to myself, I've done all the right things. I've been a good girl. I've been kind. I've been giving. I've done all the things that you're supposed to do to get a good outcome or to get a good result. So
Yeah.
why isn't it working for me? And I was very lost in, the why me story. Why me? Why am
Yeah.
I the victim in all this? Why,
Yeah.
why, why? And they say that if your question isn't giving you the answer, then ask a different question. And
Perfect.
instead of
Right.
going from why me, I got this download or this like voice in my mind that said, just try a different formula. And that's when I
Mhm.
started to ask different questions. And those different questions would lead me to working with personal development coaches, manifestation coaches, would lead me to restarting. a new business in a completely different way that I had done previously. Basically, everything that I had done before, I did it just differently. And it ultimately did lead me to what I realize now is my purpose path. And I'm so grateful for those tough challenges, which almost broke me, but actually they redirected me to my strength. And I think it's very normal for people like you, and I'm sure that this is maybe the inspiration behind your podcast as well. When you start feeling better and life starts giving you the fruits of your labor, then it's like a secret that you want to share with everybody. You're like, everybody needs to know this. Everybody should have access to this
Yeah.
freedom or this information, right? And that's
Yeah.
essentially what inspired me to share my journey and my practices with other people.
Wow. Wow, that's really amazing. First of all, I really appreciate you. I really thank you for being so vulnerable with us. And yeah, and it's really inspiring how pain can be turned into a healing tool. It's really so
Mm. Absolutely. And I like that you use that word. Pain and pleasure are essentially the same thing. It's just our relationship to them, which gives us a very different experience. And when you can find a way to find the pleasure in your pain, or even the pain in your pleasure, that's really when you come closer to union, or to closer to wholeness as a
yeah,
soul, as a person, right? Because otherwise, we have this societal norm where we're trying to avoid pain and trying to pursue pleasure. So, splitting ourselves in half, really, because we only want to have the good experiences, we only want to have the good half, but that's not life, right? Life has day, life has night, life has birth, life has death. And it's an understanding that each of these seasons serve a purpose that will ultimately contribute to the wholeness of you being you, or the wholeness of your life coming to full
yeah,
fruition.
yeah. Wow, that's wonderful. That's so inspiring. And
Mm.
I was really excited for this conversation because it had a very absurdly exciting topic. Healing has an
Yeah,
end date. So
yeah.
can you explain what healing has an end date means?
Thank you so much for asking me, because I feel like not not many people talk about it. I feel like it might be a
Yeah,
very new or a very unpopular opinion, because in the kind of spiritual circles, you will hear that, oh, healing is an ongoing thing, right? Your whole life, you're going to be healing from something. And in my experience, this is false, because healing does have an end date. When we are talking about someone starting their healing journey, essentially what we're doing is we're drawing a
yeah,
line and we are looking back. What are the things that are unhealed, unprocessed, that I need to address? What are the things that are still impacting me? Trauma work, that's the word that a lot of people use. Trauma work and shadow
yeah,
work is really, really great, but we have to we have to go into this work with the decisiveness that this isn't going to be an ongoing journey. I'm not going to be wounded the rest of my life and having to heal for the rest of my life, right? What I'm doing now is I'm drawing a line and I'm reassessing all the previous chapters of my life, starting from birth to today. And what I'm doing is I'm
yeah,
reviewing the experiences, the traumas, the heartbreaks that I've had, the grief that has been left unprocessed because I didn't have the right support or the right tools, or maybe even the self-awareness yet to understand their purpose. And all I'm doing is I'm catching up to this date. So I'm reviewing my past, I'm reviewing my history,
yeah,
and closing those chapters so that tomorrow, moving forward, I no longer need to repeat those experiences, those emotions, those perceptions, and those ways of acting and reacting. So your healing ends once you have completely reviewed all your past experiences, understood their purpose, and taken from them what skill needed or was given and developed, so that tomorrow I no longer need to heal when I experience things like this. I'm simply processing. Moving forward, I get to process my emotions. I get to process my circumstances. I don't need to transfer my past emotions, my past triggers into my future.
Mm-hmm. Wow, that's really, really amazing. I mean, wow, I have no words. It's fascinating. So another thing that I wanted to ask you, I just noted it down before we actually dove into this conversation. I want to ask you, what is soul alignment and how do we achieve it?
Yeah, that's a really nice question. And it's a really big open-ended question. So
Yeah.
our soul, this is my belief, reincarnates over multiple lifetimes because it has certain things that it wants to experience, certain things that it wants um, to complete, to give, and to take from life. So when we are aligning with our soul, it means that I have opened a dialogue with my higher self. For me, my higher self is also my God self. So God's manifestation in me is
Definitely.
God's manifestation in human form, right?
Yeah.
And instead of trying to create a life, because this is very much what the system and what society has conditioned us to do, is to chase surface-led goals. So, like certain careers, certain milestones financially, the white picket fence and the wife and the 2.5 kids, the usual
Yeah.
on paper what a successful life should look like, versus
Yeah.
your soul path. Your soul path is maybe something that you haven't seen before. It might be a career that you haven't seen before. It might be a lifestyle that the people around you haven't seen before. So when you are connected to your higher self and you're in dialogue with your higher self, you're completely surrendered to allowing
Yeah.
things to unfold to you and through you. Just like, my past pains could have meant something to my ego, and I definitely could have attached an identity to that failure, if you will, in inverted commas.
Yeah.
Or I could you know, do the healing journey, because that's essentially what I'm being invited to do. If I keep experiencing this pain and I keep experiencing this failure, it's because I'm
Mhm.
transferring the past into my present and ultimately determining which direction my future is going into. When I can be absolutely present and having healed all those
Mhm.
experiences and processed all those emotions, now I get to flow downstream. I get to allow life, God, the divine, to unfold to me and through me. And this is obvious. This is often where we give birth to ideas that, you know, are soul aligned and inspiring and exciting, and also very often misunderstood by other people. Like, why would you want to become a healer when you're in banking and you're making so much money? Because this is
Yeah.
a soul calling. You know, why would you want to start a podcast when there's a million other podcasts doing exactly what you do? So what?
Yeah.
This is a soul calling. This is uh, my soul's desire to create through me, rather than my
Mhm.
ego's desire to create something that everybody else has validated as tick
Mhm.
successful.
Mm. That's
So when I
that's
talk
really
about the
amazing.
soul path, sorry, Arick.
No worries, no worries. Please continue, please.
When I talk about the soul path has 4 pillars. The first
Yeah.
pillar is higher self, meaning
Mm-hmm.
speaking directly to and allowing God to speak through you, through all that you do, through all that you see. The second pillar is aligned relationships. This is a very big one. It's very important because we are born to be part of communities. So when you have aligned relationships, you have aligned friendships, aligned clients, even your divine union fits into this pillar. The third pillar is your creative expression and career. So
Mm.
in this, are you doing something that is allowing you to be creative? Even if you're an accountant, even if you're an architect, even if you're doing something that maybe, we wouldn't necessarily classify as artistic, is it allowing you to creatively express your talents, your skills, the things that you have learned and the things that you naturally have, and
Mm.
career? And then the fourth pillar of a soul path life is your lifestyle. Does your lifestyle support your full exploration, your full expansion? Is your lifestyle in alignment with what is best and healthiest for you? So I see that, on your podcast, it's the inner peace, better health. Is your lifestyle in an expression of a peaceful life for you? Is your lifestyle healthy for you, body, mind, and spirit?
Yeah, that's perfect. Body, mind, and spirit, because that's something that I really believe in. Body, mind, and spirit. So, in another words, it can be said as a body, soul. So it's like flesh, soul, and spirit. So we
Yes.
are a three-part being from flesh, soul, and spirit. So
Yes.
I want to also ask you, how does rapid alignment therapy differ from other healing methods?
Absolutely. Thank you for the question. So, rapid alignment therapy allows you to heal on two levels. We are speaking first and foremost of the emotional and the mental body, because the emotional and the mental body,
Yeah.
when they're not in perfect communication, your emotions can wreak havoc, or your mind can be manipulated, right, by others, by external forces. And we first heal the bodies on a mental and an emotional level. And then the second part of a rapid alignment therapy session is the somatic healing. So, am I also giving my body and my nervous system the support that it needs to release anything that is stored in the physical body? Because your physical body has a memory of its own. So, even if you think like, on a mind level, like I've healed from that, I'm resilient, I'm over that, your body might still be manifesting certain symptoms such as disease or sickness or pains or injuries or weaknesses, which are telling you that you haven't properly healed or
Yeah.
processed what your body is still storing.
Yeah. Wow. There's always so much to learn, and that's why that's what I always say to all my guests, that whenever I meet someone, whenever I meet a guest per se, there's always so much to learn, and I always realize there's so much that I don't know. And wow, it's really amazing. And just the thought that all of this came when through your tough times per se, it's
Mm.
it's really fascinating to me. It's really fascinating to me. So I want to ask you the last question. What's your vision for the future of healing and alignment?
My vision for the future is for people to finally learn that healing has an end date, and they don't need to keep suffering, and they don't need to keep
Wow.
transferring their past pains and traumas and experiences and projecting them onto
Yeah.
themselves and other people and carrying them into the future. The truth is, if you really want to ascend and expand to your greatest capacity, you need to leave the
Yeah.
past where it is, right? You need to address it as long as it's impacting you, but then move beyond that. Move beyond that, because all of those experiences were part of your rebirth. There's this
Yes.
beautiful analogy for us, for all of us to understand that when you were a baby in your mother's womb, that was your whole world. It
Yes.
was a dark, red little bubble that was warm and safe and wet, and you could hear mom's heartbeats, and you could hear mom's voice, and you could hear mom's thoughts. And when you were being born into this world, essentially you would have experienced something akin to death, because that's the end of the only world that you know. But once you've come through that birthing
Yeah.
portal, you realize that there's a whole other world here, that you get to experience more senses and more relationships than just the relationship that you have with your mother. So that's essentially what this whole life journey is. It's a series of deaths and
Yeah.
births and deaths and rebirths. And every time you're supposed to be born stronger.
Yeah.
You're supposed to be born into a bigger version of you, right? And
Yeah.
each and every single one of us have a soul path which gets to be fulfilled in this lifetime, should we choose it. Because God gave us free will, which is, both a blessing and a curse if you're not
Exactly.
if you're not using it properly, or maybe if you don't even realize that you do have the choice. Circumstances might make you believe, and society might make you believe that I have no choice. I have to do these things because there is no other choice. There is a choice. It's just,
Yeah.
are you unconsciously choosing, or are you conscious in your choice?
Yeah. Wow. That's so amazing.
Yeah. I mean,
Wow.
my wish for everyone is to fulfill their purpose, or at least to a very big extent, to share everything that they have learned with the future generations so we can help them to fulfill their purpose.
Yeah. That's so amazing. Wow. Your vision is really, really inspiring. And it gives, and trust me, it gives hope to so many out there who are listening.
Yeah, I hope
Yeah.
so. I hope that this touches a few hearts and maybe inspires a few people to
Yeah.
choose better for themselves, to choose differently for
Yeah.
themselves, and just stay grounded to that vision, even if it's not clear right now. The only thing that you need to
Yeah.
know is that I want better. And that's enough of a starting point for you to connect to your higher self, for you to speak to your higher self, and allow God to speak through you and for you, through your actions, through the inspirations, through the connections that come in your direction. Just say yes. Say yes, even if it feels uncomfortable. Say yes, even if it feels scary,
Yeah.
because I guarantee it's going to be a part of your birth and your rebirth into a grander
Yeah.
life.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you so much, Anna, for sharing your wisdom and journey with us. And
Thank you.
listeners, if you're inspired, yeah, listeners, if you're inspired by Anastasia's story, start your journey of healing and alignment today. Remember, your journey is unique and powerful. Stay mindful and keep exploring your path. Until next time, this is Eric signing off from Inner Peace and Better Health.